Good evening, and welcome to the Big Z Sports Extra Point Show, showcasing the new Philadelphia Quakers, powered by the Caleb Bell Real Estate Team. Caleb Bell can sell. Now let's head to the Hartzler's Quality Housing Mobile Studio at Hog Heaven in New Philly with Big Z Sports.
All night long here with you. And we're going to welcome in the new Philadelphia Quakers in a little bit. Head coach Mike Johnson not able to join us. He's supporting the middle school football team tonight, and that's okay, even though MJ gave us the dip.
Well, you got to respect the coach. It's a big game for their 8th graders tonight. They're playing their rival Dover, and that's what a coach does. He's got to help build up his program. So you go and support those young kids on their biggest game of the year. And,
absolutely.
I knew Philly got the win last night in the 7th grade game, and Coach Johnson wants to be there to see how the 8th graders play, get ready for next year. Absolutely,
and that's very understandable, even though we're going to give him the business for doing that anyway, just because that's what we do. So big game this week for the Quakers, a lot of OCC implications on the line, potentially, depending on what happens with Mansfield Senior, as they welcome in the West Holmes Knights to Woody Hayes Quaker Stadium. We're not going to talk about next week. It's about this week. And we'll talk about next week, right?
Yeah, and you can't look past this week because this is a huge game. West Holmes has been, one of the top teams, if not the top team in our area for the last couple of years. Coach Gardner out there has done a great job. He's got a lot of great athletes. And Coach Johnson, these new Philly Quakers are just playing phenomenal football right now, come off that big win last week. So that's going to be an exciting game right here in New Philadelphia.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the last couple of years, head coach Mike Johnson and the Quakers finished 6-5 both years. His first 2 seasons, looking to get at least another win or 2 better than that as they get ready to head into the playoffs. Also sitting good in playoff standings right now. Just don't need a trip up. Need to take care of business. Need to take care of West Holmes this week, and then take care of the rival next week.
Yeah. And I don't know how many people know about Joe Idle. He does all the predictions for football. He's one of the best at the computer ratings and stuff. And he released last night and said the toughest division in the state to get into footballs is Region 9. And that's where the new Philly Quakers play. They play in Region 9. And that's the toughest region to get in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, and the second toughest region is where Indian Valley sits. Yep. It's like, what's going on? What's up? You get teams that get an easy region, and then, a lot of our teams in our area get the tough ones. And New Philadelphia and Dover in that tough region. And, look, there's a lot on the line the next 2 weeks for the Quakers, and they know it. We're not going to have to talk much about it. We're not even going to really allude to West Holmes and the rivalry game. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. But, we're going to welcome in the kids here in a little bit. We've got a great group here, and, we're going to talk with Athletic Director Tim Fortney about some other things that are going on at New Philadelphia High School this week, or this fall sports season, as we get ready for winter sports season, which is only a couple weeks away. Before you know it, we're going to be calling a basketball game, dude.
Yeah, I'm excited to – I enjoy just going to high school sports altogether, just watching these kids grow into young men and young women. And, we got a great group of kids here right now. They're over there looking at the menu here at Hog Heaven and getting ready to order some good food and, come over here and talk sports with us and talk about their personal life. We want to know more about the kids.
We're going to dig into the personal life. That's what we're doing.
We're not the sports.
Right. We're going to find out what their favorite subjects are, what their least favorite is. Of course, we'll bring up the girlfriend situation. We already got told that we're going to hit somebody in the feels, but it doesn't matter. That's what we do. We bring stuff up that's uncomfortable, right?
Well, everybody reads about these kids in the newspaper and hears them on the Big Z Sports Show every week, what they're doing on the football field. So let's let them get into know these guys a little personal.
Absolutely. The first group that we'll talk to after we talk to Mr. Fortney, we'll talk to senior tight end linebacker Zach Rothrock. We'll talk to offensive and defensive lineman senior Garrett Dillon Ryan. And we'll talk to senior wide receiver linebacker Jaden Bolts. And then after we're done with those two, then we'll talk with the offensive guys a little bit. We'll talk to senior wide receiver Owen Shellis, who used to be a tight end. Now he's just a wide receiver. So I don't know. We'll have to ask him if he had something happen when he was blocking and maybe coach said, you know what, we're moving you to wide receiver now.
Or Or maybe he's just got a nice set of hands and coach needs him out there.
That could be. And then, of course, we'll talk to the junior, the baby of the bunch, quarterback Keaton Fossil, who makes all this ship go on offense. So we'll talk to them in a little bit when we come back here on Big Z Sports and the Caleb Fell Extra Point Show. We will, of course, talk with Athletic Director Tim Fortney right after this on Big Z Sports.
Fell can sell. When you choose the Caleb Fell Real Estate team, you can count on local expertise, terrific communication, an expert negotiator on your side, and detail-oriented service throughout the process. Real estate does not have to be difficult or stressful. Choose a team that will make the process quick, easy, and professional start to finish. Whether you are ready to buy or ready to sell, make sure you call Caleb Fell with the Caleb Fell Real Estate team.
Welcome back to Hog Heaven. Chris Kale, Shannon Thomas here with you on the Caleb Fell Real Estate Extra Point Show, welcoming in Athletic Director for the new Philadelphia High School, Tim Fortney. And Mr. Fortney, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. We know, look, athletic directors have one of the busiest jobs there is at trying to schedule all this stuff and all these sports. We appreciate you taking time to visit with us.
No problem. Great to be here.
All right. The first thing I want to ask you, we'll start with the current sport we're in, fall sports. You know, when you look at the football team, they're obviously having a great season, but flipping over to that, you've got cross country and golf having really good seasons, tennis as well. Just let us know what some of the things that are going on in fall sports right now for the Quakers.
Well, you know what, this fall, our boys golf team had just a great season. They were OCC champions. They were Tuscarawas County champions. They qualified for Division I districts. I mean, that's a tough D1 district. Anytime you go up north, our girls golf team was 12-1 in the Tri-County League this year. They got a couple of great wins against a rival across the river there. Our boys cross country was Tuscarawas County champions. They won the Indian Valley Invite. And a lot of our other teams here, and won't go over specific records, but I know our volleyball's had a solid season with our girls and boys soccer, and they're all kind of gearing up right now for tournament play. A lot of them are going to be heading down. I know Riverview's heading down to, or we're heading down to Riverview for D2 volleyball. I think our girls are on Saturday up north at Carrollton, and then our boys are actually in D1, and they're going to be playing up at Akron North. At Akron Elliott this Saturday.
And you talked about some of the rivalry for the Cure games. I think you just had one last night, right? And then you have another one coming up this weekend?
Yeah. So we have our rival for the cause match.
Rival for the cause,
that's
sorry.
Okay. I get those kind of mixed up too.
No.
It's okay. But we got one going on tonight down. I'm heading there. I'm going out to 8th grade football for a little bit, and then I'm heading down to girls soccer tonight, where actually the girls game is tonight. because we had a conflict with a Division II tournament
That's right.
game.
Yep.
So we're going to be playing the girls' version of that tonight. We're going to kick off about 7:15 down there, so that'll be great. And then the boys' soccer will play in their Rivals for a Cause game on Saturday at 5 o'clock as originally scheduled.
So all this stuff you got going on right now, is there a time in the fall when you ADs get us, just to like everything calms down for a second? You get like the football going, and then it's like, all right, week 1 and 2 we can take it easy, and then boom, you're right back into it. Or you just, some of these ADs I talk to, it just seems like you guys are just on the phone or doing something all the time.
Well, that's a really good question, and I'm very fortunate because I got a coach's wife, and I coached football for 25 years, and actually I was AD and a football coach for a long time, so I'm very fortunate. She knows that I have a passion for high school sports and for kids being involved in high school sports. So for me, if I'm not at one of our events, I'll be going to playoff football games over the next 3 weeks. The nice part I like about that, especially this time of year, is I love going to other people's venues where they're stressed out, and I just get to go watch. I just get to go watch a ball game, and that's an enjoyable part. And it's neat to see other stadiums and kind of some of the things they do. But I'll tell you one thing, and I think our kids would attest to this too, and a lot of the schools in our league will attest to this too. They're like, man, when we come to Quaker Stadium, you guys really put on a show for us. And I was like, well, just to let you know, we put on that show for everybody. So we're very blessed in this community to have facilities that we do. But I love my job, and I pretty much do stuff about 6-7 nights a week.
So when you got to host these big venues at your school, like when you host this football game coming up, how many people do you need to help you? Like, who's in charge of getting all those volunteers? You got somebody out there helping park cars in the park. You got people working concession stands. It takes a whole lot of people to help you put these shows on.
Oh, it sure does. And when you talk about stuff like that, it's amazing. We got I got Kevin Cornell has stepped in this year for Eddie Marsh, who used to help a lot on Friday nights. Guys like Rod Miller's been out there for years and years and years. And then just all the ticket takers that we have, and Annie Dalpay's over in the athletic office just helps get so many things set up. But I would say right now, and Chris Dillon's out there almost 24/7 at the stadium. But it's about 15, 20, 25 people it takes to pull everything off. A lot of the guys from the Quaker Club do stuff either in the press box or out front. So I'll tell you this: I got here 3 years ago, and my goal was to keep the machine running, because they had a lot of really good stuff going before I got here, and I'm just trying not to screw it up.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot for a second.
Okay.
I've got a question for you, and I don't know if you're gonna be able to give me an answer or not, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Okay.
The rivalry for the cause thing is such a cool thing, right? And normally the way they used to try to do it was, right, the freshmen would play, or the JV would play, JV girls, then varsity girls, then JV boys, then varsity boys, or whatever. You know what I mean? You would factor that in. Is that something that you think that maybe down the road we can look at doing basketball-wise between Dover and New Philadelphia to put, do JV girls, JV boys, varsity girls, varsity boys, do it on a Saturday and have something all together like that at a venue?
Well, that would be interesting. I'm sure Mr. McCrate I would have to have a pretty long discussion on that one, to be honest with you, because I'll tell you what, piecing together one of the greatest things I think for our kids, and you talk about the rivalries, that we have. One of the greatest things for our kids is to be able to play in those games and be able to do those things. But a lot of the pieces that have to come together to make that happen,
I know,
can be very challenging. But that's a great idea. I'll put that in my suggestion box.
But I think that it would be something to really, a lot of times, the girls' games, Dover Philly girls' game always gets a good crowd, right?
Oh yeah.
But I think it would be something that you could bring both communities together, and maybe we could do something for a cause or for a cure or something like that. Do it for a charity and have something involved like that, and do a whole day on a Saturday. I think that'd be a cool deal.
That's food for thought.
There you go. All right, Shannon.
Yeah, you lost me with all that right there. So I kind of want to touch on now. We're going to get away from the fall sports. We're going to go into the winter sports. You got a lot of things going on in the winter sports. We were talking off air. You got a really good wrestling team coming back. You got new coaches in your boys and girls basketball programs in the last couple of years, and got a lot of athletes coming back. So, expecting good things out of the Quakers going into the fall or the winter.
Oh, sure. Well, I think when we talk about wrestling, I think one of the reasons why Coach Swinterman has so much confidence right now is just because he's got a couple state qualifiers, 2 or 3 state qualifiers coming back. I mean, some kids that have really got quite a few matches under their belt against some really high-quality competition. We not only have in this area, I mean, when you talk about some of the schools like Indian Valley and Claymont and Steubenville and Dover and some of the schools that we wrestle in just duels, and I know we're going up against Lake Catholic and Bishop Watterson this year is on the schedule.
Wow.
I know, and then you look at Ashland and some of the schools that we've had in the OCC are really just a solid wrestling schools. So I know our competition is going to be tough, but I know he's expecting a lot of that, mainly because he's got a lot of returning players. I think when you look at boys and girls basketball, I think just kind of like we talked about a little bit, I think it's really just seeing who we get in the lineup. I mean, we're going to have some newcomers coming in, either some kids that are stepping up from JV teams from last year, or maybe kids that didn't play last year that that maybe took a year or 2 off or something like that. So I think we're going to find that out a lot for our boys and girls basketball. And of course, I always like to reach out and give some props to our swimming and bowling programs, because I'll tell you what. As a winter sport, one of the things is swimming is such a grueling sport that I love to watch those kids play, and then the other part is bowling. To me, I'll be honest with you, in all the sports I've covered in high school, I don't think there's a more maybe outside of golf and bowling where there's more sportsmanship, where there's more rooting for one another, where there's just that genuine, hey, we're just out here to kind of to play today, and you don't have people yelling at the kids and people parents,
right.
It's
about the kids.
It's a fun thing, and the other thing too we got going on in the winter. I'll give a shout out to Lisa Spiker and her cheerleading squad. They do a lot of competition cheer and that type of stuff in the wintertime, and I know a lot of those kids. That's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, that the QTs and the cheer do a great job helping to support our programs and the band and everybody, but the QTs and cheer, they have a really long season. I don't think people realize sometimes that they really double up on a lot of that stuff with those girls, and they do a fantastic job for us in the fall and the winter as well.
And sometimes they have the longest practices. That they might show up at a gym at 8 in the morning and not leave till 2 or 3 in the afternoon. They're practicing their routines and all their stunts.
And we have a lot of those, and a lot of those girls too. To be honest with you, a lot of them will play other sports too. So we have some that are involved in other sports that they're involved in cheer and QT. So they do a great job for us, and they give us a lot of great support.
How has the transition, I know this is second year really now with the OCC, how has that transition went from an athletic director standpoint, and how is the schools and everybody else in the conference kind of welcoming New Philadelphia in?
Well, that's an interesting one. The one thing that I really enjoy about the OCC myself, because like in every profession you have a fraternity, and when I was coaching, you got the coaching fraternity, and the AD, you got AD fraternity. It's a great group of people to work with, number one, and our league commissioner Ron Desker is a great guy. I mean, we just have a lot of really high quality people to work with. The conference itself, I think for our programs, it's really good competition. And when you look at it, there's been a lot of state champions that have come out of the OCC. I think a lot of our kids and a lot of our parents, we've been very competitive, but it's also not one of those deals where you're like, oh my gosh, like it's shocking. But I think it's good, because you have to, whether you look at football, you look at soccer, volleyball, boys and girls basketball, a lot of the auxiliary sports, baseball, softball, you got to come to play. Pretty much every night. I think our kids know that. They're getting used to some longer bus trips now. Our parents are
but that trip to Marietta, Zanesville, Vincent Warren, those were long trips anyway.
That was no day at the beach, and I can tell you, I'm an old Cardinal Conference guy myself from Coshocton back in the day, when Dover and Philly and Coshocton and the Mansfield schools and stuff played back in the 80s. So this is not the first time we kind of had to adapt to that, and we're adjusting some of our junior high schedules a little bit to help out with that. But overall, we're just ecstatic to be in the OCC. It's a great league for us.
Yeah, Coach, that's one thing parents tend to complain sometimes about those long drives. But be real, we'll get in our car and drive 35, 40
Yeah.
minutes just to go eat dinner.
Well,
Right.
and you know what? I tell you this too, and I don't know about you guys, but the car has become the place to connect with your
Yep.
family.
Yes.
I mean, I call every trip back from Mansfield, Worcester.
Yeah.
Whatever, I'm calling my mom to check on her and see
Yeah.
how she's doing. My kids, I mean, when my kids are driving back and forth, you know, they lived out of state for a little bit. I got one in Columbus now. That's how we connect sometimes now,
Yeah.
because we tend to, you know, that windshield time sometimes is more than we have doing some other stuff. So
You're
I try
right.
to take advantage of some of those trips and enjoy the fall weather. I mean, this time of the year, just the fall foliage and stuff
Yeah.
going across. The buggies, you got to watch out for the
You gotta
buggies.
watch the buggies.
You got to watch the buggies.
Gotta watch
but
the
other
buggies.
than that, it's a pretty good time.
Well, last thing before we let you go, you know, activities for the week next week. I know,
Yes.
you know, everything kicks off with the sportsmanship breakfast on Saturday.
Yes.
You've got the blood battle, you've got the spaghetti dinner, everything else. What all is you know, kind of going on with New Philadelphia for next week?
Okay, well, this, like you said, we're not going to put the cart before the horse.
No.
We got a big one against West Holmes on
Right.
Friday night,
Right.
and we all know that.
Yes.
And that's one of the things. And I think Coach Johnson is starting to learn that, as Coach Dennison did. I'm sure Coach Ift is understanding that there's a game on
Yeah.
Friday night before that. But
Right.
as soon as that game is over,
Yeah,
on
it-
Friday night, you don't even
It flips.
You don't even get back to the locker room, and it changes to Dover. So, but you know, that you mentioned that we have the sportsmanship banquet on Saturday morning down at the Buckeye Career Center. You know, we get to recognize our senior football players, our band, and our cheerleaders and QTs. And that banquet's, you know, coordinated by the local Rotary clubs of New
Right.
Philadelphia and Dover. They do a great job with that. You know, they do a really good job. And then next week, we, of course, have the blood battle. We got the spaghetti dinner going on the night before, on Thursday night there before the pep rally. We got the community pep rally on Thursday night down there. And, you know, and just to give you a little heads up on tickets, so Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, we'll be selling tickets for like the senior players, you know, during the day. And we kind of take care of all of our families and everything associated with the football program. And then on Tuesday night from 6 to 7:30, we're going to sell all the general public tickets. And then on Thursday night after the pep rally, we'll have another open ticket session for our people. And once you get to Friday, it's pretty much,
good
you know
luck.
what, you got to get a ticket at the gate and show up early.
And you're going to be standing.
And you're going to be standing. Yeah, and you're going to be standing for a little while. We're hoping for a really big crowd, and I'll tell you what, it's this is my third opportunity to be involved in the game, and I'll tell you what, it's truly a blast.
Yeah, there's
Truly
nothing like it, right? There's I mean, yes, you can go up the road a little bit on Saturday and take in Massa McKinley, but for this area, that's the game. It just is.
I agree.
Yep.
It's awesome, and we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us. We'll let you get off to that football game and the soccer game, and you know, go Quakers, and we appreciate you joining us.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, that was Athletic Director Tim Fortney. The Big Z Sports Extra Point Show brought to you by Caleb Fell Real Estate. We'll return right after this.
Fell can sell. When you choose the Caleb Fell Real Estate team, you can count on local expertise, terrific communication, an expert negotiator on your side, and detail-oriented service throughout the process. Real estate does not have to be difficult or stressful. Choose a team that will make the process quick, easy, and professional start to finish. Whether you are ready to buy or ready to sell, make sure you call Caleb Fell with the Caleb Fell Real Estate team.
Welcome back to Hog Heaven. Chris Kale, Shannon Thomas here with you. Again, a big shout out to Hog Heaven, all their staff here. Man, they do such a great job. Food is second to none. I had to wait to get mine to go. I know you got yours to go too, didn't you?
Yeah, I got here a little later than I usually do, so
Yeah.
I got my burger to go. I'll just go home and eat it while I'm watching TV.
I know, but that's obviously the famous barbecue sauce. I had to get me a little side to put on the burger. There's no doubt you got to do that, right?
I just go in and buy a bottle and take it with me.
Well, you could do that too. Again, a huge shout out to Claxon Communications. LB always here with us, and other than just a couple of weeks where she has to do other things, she's our ride or die, and we appreciate her so much. She does such a great job. So, going to welcome in Zach Rothrock, GDR down there on the end, Jaden Bolts in the middle, and triple seniors here. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, now that you're closing out your senior year of football, right? 2 games left, hopefully 3, 4, 5, but 2 for sure, maybe 3, probably 3 for sure. What is your best memory football-wise that you will take with you forever?
My best memory football-wise is getting to meet all my good friends. After I transferred in, they've really just made me feel welcome.
All right, that's a good one.
For my best memory, I'm going to have to go with beating Dover 21-20 last year. That was probably the best one.
All right.
I'm going to go with the same thing, beating Dover for sure. That was the best part of my life.
We're not supposed to talk Dover,
Well,
dang it.
But that was last year's stuff. We're not going to talk this year's stuff.
No, you're good. Keep it there.
So since we're going to talk a couple things about football before we get to know you personally here. So what's something that this year that has stood out as far as you personally as a player, your growth, the position you're playing, you feel like you've excelled, or just a memory that you got from this year as far as you personally on the field?
Just getting better every week and just keep going out with my best friends and just do my thing.
For me, I'd say I've grown a lot more mentally, knowing what's going on more in the game, and a lot quicker, a lot faster, a lot stronger.
All right, I like that.
Yeah, same with the mental thing. It's the second year in the OCC, so we get to play the same opponents, and a lot of them have the same offensive schemes, really. So it gives us an extra year to really know and get tuned into what they're doing. That gives us an extra step in that week of practice that gets us prepared for them.
And a couple weeks ago, this guy had a monster game. How do you get in 2 interceptions, dude? And you had like a sack, like 12 tackles. If we would have had those stats, you might have been getting a shirt on the defensive side. 2 interceptions?
Yes, sir.
I like it. Man.
Me too.
Me too. All right, let's switch. Favorite subject in school and least favorite.
I go to Kent, so.
Okay. So all your subjects are good then.
Yeah, right now I'm in math, which isn't my favorite, but it has to be right now. So.
Okay.
My least favorite's probably English.
Okay.
I know you need it, but it's kind of boring.
I know you need it. Kind of.
For my favorite subject, I go to Kent too, and my favorite's probably going to be math, and then least favorite would probably be English.
All right, well, there you go, I guess.
My favorite is going to be math, and my least favorite is going to be English too.
Jeez, that's 3.
The problem is just too much reading and too much writing when it comes to English.
Right.
We get this across the board with every team we go to.
We got to pick up the English program at New Philly, right? I guess apparently.
Yeah. So, outside of athletics, what's one thing you enjoy doing? Is it are you an outdoorsman? Do you just like chilling with your friends? What's something you like to do outside of sports?
I like hanging out with friends and hunting with my dad.
Okay.
For me, I'm going to have to go with going to the gym. Whenever I get a chance, I just head to the gym, work on myself, really.
Gym rat. Okay.
I like hanging out with my friends and my girlfriend and getting out in the woods and just kind of having fun exploring.
There it is. So you brought it up. I was waiting. Garrett down there said, I can't talk about the girlfriends. Well, you brought it up. So you have to blame Zach now because he brought it up. So you got a girlfriend. Go ahead and give her a shout out. What's her name?
Aubrey McPeak.
All right. Give her a shout out.
She's amazing. She's just the best. We've been dating 27 months now. So
27 months.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good. Aubrey's an Indian Valley girl, so I've seen this kid at multiple places. I've seen him at softball games. I'm friends with her family. I see all the homecoming pictures, all the prom pictures. So
Yes,
Almost
sir.
3 years?
Yep.
That's awesome. Good for you, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome. All right. Jaden,
Which one are we talking about here?
the girlfriends.
The girlfriends, yeah.
You got a girlfriend?
No, I'm joking. Not my girlfriend.
Stay away from the girls, man.
Yeah,
All
no.
they do is cloud your mind. They keep you away from the
No
gym.
girlfriend for me.
All right, you want
I
to give
stay
mom
in
and
the
dad a
gym.
shout out, though?
Kristen and Darby Bolts, love them to death. They do everything for me.
All right, there you go.
I
Nothing
don't
like
have.
it.
I don't have a girlfriend.
Oh, you don't?
Nope.
Well, then you don't have to feel bad then, because neither does Jaden.
That is true.
All right, so give a shout out, mom, dad.
My mom is Jennifer Dillon Schroyer. My dad's Chad Ryan. I love them both.
All right, love them both. All right.
You better love them both, or they're going to cut you off.
Right, they gave birth to you, man.
All right. Well, since we're on this, who's that one boy that you can call on anytime? Like, hey, I need a ride. Come get me, take me to school. Who's your go-to friend right now?
The whole football team.
Wow.
No, just that's my dude. It's just everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. I could count on all of them.
Okay.
That's how winners are born, right there.
All right, I like that.
I'm gonna have to say the full football team too.
Oh,
They're all my boys, all of them.
You
get a ride
can't.
from
You got to
anybody.
come up with something different.
He's gonna come. He's gonna say Aubrey's name.
Well, yeah, Aubrey, but I mean, the whole football team.
There
too,
we go.
Just
Jeez.
the chemistry that we get with them in the off season is great. Spending time with them in the weight room and out on the field doing all the speed stuff, it's unmatched.
I get it. And look, I'm just picking on you guys. I absolutely know football teaches you life lessons, and there are friends that you will have in football for the rest of your life. It's just the way it is, right? What other sports you play, man?
I throw shot and disc for the track team.
Nice. All right, cool. Jaden?
Football, and then this year it's either gonna be basketball or wrestling, either one. So I'm not
Either
sure
one.
yet. Yeah.
You
I'm
haven't
still trying
decided,
to
dude.
make a
You know
decision.
you're getting down to the
I'm
wire.
getting down to the wire, but
Getting down the wire.
we'll see what happens.
So I might be calling Jaden on the basketball floor. I like it.
That's a big difference between basketball and wrestling. Like, I mean, you got the finesse of wrestling and the strength, and basketball takes strength and finesse too. But those are two totally different sports.
Yeah.
How about you?
I wrestle.
Okay, Garrett wrestles. What weight class?
Heavyweight.
Boy, I knew it was coming. That's why I had to ask. So, what's the farthest you went?
I was an alternate at state.
Nice. Alternate at state, what, last year?
Yeah.
So, goal is to be in the state tournament this year, right?
Oh yeah.
No
For sure.
doubt.
Oh yeah.
All right, awesome. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up with our first group. Zach Rothrock, Garrett Dillon Ryan down on the end, GDR, and Jaden Bolts in the middle. Guys, senior year, you know how important the next 2 weeks, next 3 or 4 weeks are, right? But especially the next 2. Good luck to you guys, right? I'm a Dover alum, you know that, but I'll still tell you guys good luck, all right? All right. That is the three of the seniors. We'll be back with Keaton Fossil and Owen Shellis right after this on Big Z Sports.
Fell can sell. When you choose the Caleb Fell Real Estate Team, you can count on local expertise, terrific communication, an expert negotiator on your side, and detail-oriented service throughout the process. Real estate does not have to be difficult or stressful. Choose a team that will make the process quick, easy, and professional, start to finish. Whether you are ready to buy or ready to sell, make sure you call Caleb Fell with the Caleb Fell Real Estate Team.
Philadelphia. Chris Kale, Shannon Thomas here with you. Of course, Claxon Communications LB behind the scenes. Adam Saweski, our sports director, here as well. We appreciate everybody at Hog Heaven. Such great food. I can't wait to dig into mine. We haven't really had a chance to dig into it yet. The boys have, though. They got the hog log over there, and I think they're tearing it up, so it's all good. Again, just thankful to have the new Philadelphia Quakers here to Hog Heaven, welcoming in junior quarterback Keaton Fossil and senior wide receiver Owen Shellis. And Owen, I'll start off with a non-football question. We'll circle around to a football question later, but listen, I love covering you on the basketball floor. I think you're going to have a huge year this year for the Quakers in your senior year. I think you're going to be one of the focal points of this offense. How excited are you for basketball season to get here? I mean, not taking anything away from football, but how excited are you for basketball season this year?
I'm pretty stoked. I'm really excited to get back out on the court with the group of guys that I've been playing with for a while. And even last year I was getting ready and looking forward to my senior year, so I'm super excited.
Awesome.
All right, so I'm going to go straight to a football question with Keaton here.
All right.
That pass last week, I mean, when you released it, did you know it was dead money?
Yeah, actually, I was kind of nervous when I released it, but it fit right through the two defenders, and Carson caught it, and no one was catching him. So, yeah, I was pretty happy.
I was at another football game, and when that highlight come up and I opened my phone and I seen it, I was surprised at the tight window that you put it through, and I thought, man, he knew it had to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna switch back to football. Look, you had to come in, as a sophomore and kind of lead this team. You were kind of thrown into the fire right before everything got going. How much more comfortable have you been this year than you were last year?
Last year I just didn't see the field as well, didn't trust the pocket as much, and this year I've been playing around the same guys for the last 2 years, different receivers, but I play with them middle school up,
right.
So I'm just more comfortable. I see the field better. I know the game more mentally.
Okay. All right, I'll come back to you with a football thing, and you can pass it down because it'll go back to Keaton before we go back to Shannon. What are you most looking forward to next week, not Friday night? It cannot be Friday night, but something else during the week that you look forward to.
I look forward to the pep rally the most. I think it gets our community together, our school together, and I think it really just rallies our entire city. And it gives us all great morale to go out and play.
I like that. I mean, that's perfect. Keaton, same question.
I would have to say the pep rally, too. It just gets the whole community there. It gets all the players hyped for the game the next day. And, yeah, I think that's the best event of the week. So,
real quick, the sportsmanship dinner that happens, or the breakfast that happens on Saturday mornings, is that always something that's pretty cool? I mean, I know you've gotten to partake in an extra year, but is that something you guys look forward to, too, just to be able to recognize the seniors and kind of say, hey, look, this is a sportsmanship game. Yes, it's a big football game, and we're going to put it all on the line, but it's about sportsmanship, too.
I mean, yeah, it's a good event to have. I mean, see people there in the community that are leaders and people from other teams that,
right.
They're leaders on their team. So, yeah, it's cool.
Shannon?
All right, so you both have been playing football now for a while. You've been in the program. Who is somebody either on this current team or a team in the past that you kind of looked up to, like maybe took you under your wing or showed you the ropes coming in as a freshman or something? Who's one of those guys that you can look to and say, hey, he taught me, he did it right?
I'd have to say Thad Van Arsdalen. Last year was my first year playing at the varsity level on defense, and being at defensive end, he was the outside linebacker behind me, and I felt like I could trust him a lot, and I think he helped me to grow as a defensive end and as a defensive player. And offensively, I would have to say probably Brant Wells. He's a very hard-nosed kid, just puts in the work, and will just go after it, and I think both of them have taught me very well.
Same question for you, Keaton.
I would have to say Curtis Tesloff. He was the quarterback when I was a freshman his junior year, and my sophomore year he was the quarterback to start. He went down with an injury. I stepped up, but every day he was still there, coaching me up, telling me what I can do better. So I think Kurt really helped me the most last year.
Awesome. I mean, that's a great answer. All right, college. What are you planning on doing? College, military? What do you don't know? Undecided?
Workforce.
What's up? Yeah, workforce.
I'm pretty undecided to which college I want to go to, or
Okay.
I'm kind of open to see what offers I get and whatnot. But
Okay.
I'm going to go focus on my education because
Okay.
I want to be a pre-health major. I want to
Nice.
follow in my sister's footsteps. Just got accepted into med school, so I definitely want to go out there and put my best foot forward in my academic.
That is awesome. I mean, listen, Medfield, you can't go wrong. You're always going to need it, dude. My wife's a nurse. My daughter's boyfriend's a nurse. I'm a firefighter EMT, so I get it, man. Keaton, what college, military, what do you think?
I really have no clue what I'm going to do yet.
Okay. Hey, there's
I got
nothing
some
wrong with
time.
that.
Hey.
You do have time.
Yeah, he's still got another year yet.
Yeah, exactly. I just didn't know if you were thinking about it yet. You know what I mean? There's a lot of time out there. Cool. Shannon?
So since you're just in high school right now, what's that class you look forward to going to? And it can't be lunchtime, and it can't be it can't be study hall. There's got to be a class you enjoy going to. What class is that?
Does lifting class count?
No, lifting class is out the window. That was another class we had to eliminate.
I would say history class. I just
There you
think
go.
like all the world wars and wars in the past are interesting topic to learn about.
I agree with you. My history is always my favorite subject in school, so I like it. All right, Owen.
I'm gonna have to say like chemistry, biology. I like the
Okay.
science. I just like the whole science thing.
That's the whole doctor thing. There you go.
We got the smart guy over here.
It just makes sense to me, and I like going and understanding it. And it's just,
That's nothing wrong with that. All right, girlfriend.
oh yeah.
All right, give her a shout out. What's her name?
Ella Leeser.
All right.
We're going on about a year right now. And
Nice.
It's very comfy, and
Nice.
it's a great relationship. We both support each other a lot, and
Awesome.
she plays volleyball. I go to all of her games. It's good.
Good. You shout out to mom and dad too.
My mom's Kelly Shellis, and my dad's Chris Shellis. I couldn't be here without him. And
No, you couldn't. How about your brother?
I have a sister.
Oh, you got a sister. Okay. Okay.
I could definitely give her a lot of shout outs, and I could say a lot about her, but I think she's always just putting in that work and always trying her best and doing what needs to be done every day.
All right. Keaton?
I do have a girlfriend. Her name is Sarah Clark, and ironically, she goes to Dover.
Yeah, the Clark's from Dover. There you go. I get you.
Well,
how long you been together?
Chris here, his house is divided too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I married an all Ohioan from Philly, so it's okay.
That's good. That's
yeah, and it happens, right?
Yeah.
But how long you guys been together?
A little over a year now.
Nice. Good
Yeah.
deal. Good deal. You want to give mom and dad a shout out too?
My mom is Lori Fossil, and my dad is Jordan Fossil, and they've always been very supportive and pushed me to work hard and try my best at everything.
Awesome. Shannon, last question, brother.
last question. That means I got to come up with a
You
good
got
one.
to come up with a good one, man.
All right.
It's getting cold out here. It's
Yeah.
about time to go.
Any pregame rituals you got to do every week before the game? Last week we had.
That's a good one.
Last week we had 3 players out of 5 tells they got to wear the same underwear every Friday. So
hopefully they washed them.
Yeah, well, that was a big topic. So
I believe it.
Is there a
I
meal
believe
you
it.
got to eat every week, or is there a piece of clothing you got to do?
I eat Subway every week. I got to eat Subway every week. And then right before the game, I usually just try to find a quiet place, and I pray and I stretch just in my own thoughts and just kind of get ready for the game.
I like that. Good deal. Keaton?
I also go to Subway every week with Boston and Pete. I has to be with those two. And before every game.
What if Boston or Pete's sick?
I guess we got to take the Subway to that. No, but we always got to go to Subway.
Okay.
It's gotta
And
happen.
then before the game, I always put on my right sock and then my left sock and then
Okay.
my right shoe, then my left shoe. So that's my little thing I do.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, fellas, thank you for taking time out of your week. We know you're deep in prep for West Holmes. We wish you guys nothing but the best of luck this week, next week, and into the playoffs. Looking forward to covering you guys, and just good luck, and thanks for taking the time out to be here, man. Yep, absolutely. That is Owen Shellis and Keaton Fossil. Check them out Friday night when they take on the West Holmes Knights at Woody Hayes Quaker Stadium. When we return, Shannon and I will break down a little bit of what's left for the Quakers on the season, and we'll wrap things up here from Hog Heaven on the Caleb Real Estate Extra Point Show on Big Z Sports.
Fell can sell. When you choose the Caleb Fell Real Estate team, you can count on local expertise, terrific communication, an expert negotiator on your side, and detail-oriented service throughout the process. Real estate does not have to be difficult or stressful. Choose a team that will make the process quick, easy, and professional start to finish. Whether you are ready to buy or ready to sell, make sure you call Caleb Fell with the Caleb Fell Real Estate team.
Welcome back to Hog Heaven. Chris Gale, Shannon Thomas here with you. Again, a huge shout out to our players, Keaton Fossil, Zach Rothrock, Garrett Dillon Ryan, who is also known as GDR, Jaden Bolt, and Owen Shellis, and also Athletic Director Tim Fortney for joining us here on the Extra Point Show, brought to you by Caleb Fell Real Estate. Again, a shout out to Lydia Brady, Claxon Communications, Adam Sweski, our sports director, and of course, Hog Heaven, the great food. They're getting into it over there off the air with, they got some ribs and everything else going on. Man, it smells good out here. It's time to go.
Yeah, you know, that's one great thing about this show that Caleb Fell helps us put on, and all the restaurants in this area. We bring these athletes in. We get to know a little bit about them personally, and they get to eat, man. And that's top notch right there. You get dinner.
You don't want to be in a studio cooped up in front of just staring at a window or something. You know what I mean? Staring at a camera. You want to come out and eat something and be out in the community. And you can do that at Big Z Sports. So when you look at the new Philadelphia Quakers, their game breakdowns all year long, brought to you by Gillen Body Shop, by the way. You know, Mike Johnson in his third season, 2 playoff appearances. I don't want to say they're locked in, but a pretty good chance they're going to be in the playoffs for a third straight year. They sit 6-2, 5-1 in the OCC. Of course, they played the extra game early because they have the rivalry game in week number 10 where West Holmes will play their rivalry, but that is Mount Vernon, which is in the in the OCC still. When you look at this defense, that's what impresses me the most this year about the Quakers. Their defense has really stepped up. They only give up 16.5 points a game, only 124 yards on the ground, and 142 through the air. Their defense has really stepped up this year. And, not to mention their junior quarterback, like he talked about, is a lot more comfortable, and they're moving the ball a lot more, too, and that takes a lot of pressure off that defense.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want out of your offense. Your best defense sometimes is your offense, so they can go out and they can give your defense guys a break so they can come in and do their job. And I said earlier in the year when we were talking to Coach Johnson on Friday nights, like everybody was kind of at the beginning of the year wondering what this Quaker team was going to be like. Yeah. You know, I mean, you can read all you want, you can hear it until you put it on the field. And I mean the all-around package that this team has got this year with the run game, the pass game. I mean, they're pretty much 50-50 as far as plays and on offense, and then defensively, like you said, man, they've played some tough competition, and they've been getting it done, a lot of creating some turnovers and stuff. So very impressed with this Quakers team getting ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, and Keaton Fossil not turning the football over, 144 yards through the air, 12 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. That tells you how much the juniors settled in. And like you talked about, or like we talked about with him, when Tetzloff was the quarterback and he got hurt and had that shoulder injury to start the year, it was right at the start of the season. So there was not a lot of prep for Keaton to be able to come in and be the leader and quarterback of this football team. Now he's had not only that season, but he's had a whole off season as the guy, and that's going to help incredibly, and that shows in the efficiency with the 12 touchdowns and only 2 picks.
Yeah, and that's what Coach Johnson said at our pregame show. If you go back and watch it, he talked about how much work he put in the offseason to get mentally ready.
Yeah.
You can go in the weight room and do everything you want to do, but somewhere along the line, you got to get football smart. And that's what your quarterback has to do. He has to be able to read defenses. He's got to know when to throw the ball. Only giving up 2 interceptions, I mean, that's outstanding going into week 9, only two INTs.
In a very tough OCC schedule, right? When you look at Etney Richardson, the tailback, he didn't play last week. They're hoping to have him back this week and into Dover and into the playoffs. But this kid's been incredible, too. He's really had a good season in his first year, really being the feature back with the Quakers.
Yeah, he's actually really just kind of came out of nowhere. Everybody knew he was in the system, and you wondered what he was going to do. But he just this last third of the season, man, he's just really come to life, and he'll hit that big play, or he'll just grind it out if he has to. And Coach Johnson's got to be happy with the way that the back is performing, and he's got to be happy with the way the guys in the trenches are opening the holes up for him.
Yeah, and we just talked about Jaden, too. He had 7 carries, 33 yards last week, starting to become a little bit more involved in the offense rolling down the stretch, and I think that obviously probably had something to do with Edney being out, but Jaden showing, hey, look, you can give me the rock 6, 7, 8 times, and I'm going to come through with, getting some yards and moving the sticks.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's high school football. Injuries are going to happen, but if you're the backup, if you don't get too many touches a game, you have to be ready to step up when somebody goes down, because you never know what's going to happen. And Coach Johnson had to be happy with the performance that he put in last week.
Yeah, and then the wide receiver positions, junior Pete DiDonato, 7 catches, a $102 and a touchdown last week. He had the 4 tackles on defense. We know what Carson Long does. 5 catches, 108 yards, a touchdown. He was a Hats Off Award winner this week. He was also 1-for-1 throwing the football and had 23 yards on a little trickeration there. 6 tackles on defense. Swiss Army knife, does a little bit of everything. How about Jaden? 13 tackles, 1 for a loss, a sack, and 2 fumble recoveries on the defensive side of the football last week. You see why we invited him to the show tonight. We got to feed him, get him ready for West Holmes, right? And Owen Schellis only had the 6-yard catch, but 5 tackles, a sack on defense. He's done a lot. Zach Rothrock, I believe, is the leading tackler on this team. He had 10 last week and a sack. He's just had a great all-around season. And, these Quakers, man, they're dangerous. West Holmes is going to have to be ready for this team. This could be a shootout. But then again, it showed last week West Holmes was only a 21-7 football game. So they can throw it for 400 or 500 yards, but when they run into a tight defense, defense can win out a little bit and keep these games low scoring.
And that's it. Coach Johnson and the Quakers, I'm sure they've studied a lot of film this week, but one thing Zach Gardner is good at is his offensive schemes. His playbook is wide open. He can come out and they can put 500 on you passing, or they'll turn around and put 300 on you rushing.
Yep.
And that Quaker defense, the guys in the secondary have to stay true. If you think that quarterback's going to run, you better let your defensive line and your linebackers worry about him, because if you pull off,
yeah,
they're going to burn you deep. That's a very talented West Holmes group out there, but they're going to go against one of their tougher defenses they're going to face this year. So this is going to be a great battle between Coach Gardner, Coach Johnson, and their staff and these players this week at Woody Hayes Quaker Stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we want to thank head coach Mike Johnson. He wasn't able to join us because he's out there supporting the 8th grade team, and there's nothing wrong with that. Great kudos to him for supporting them. We know that we've got the rivalry for a cause games going on with the soccer side of things, the volleyball side of things, and then we've got the week next week for Dover, New Philadelphia. So a lot going on. Man, it's been fun. It's getting a little chilly out here. I think it's time for us to go and get inside and go eat.
Yeah, don't forget this week, Big Z Sports got 2 football games for you. We got Claymont and Ridgewood. Generals will be traveling to Claymont. That'll be on YouTube. Or you can listen to Sandy Valley Gareway on 99.9, and you can also stream it on YouTube if you got the ability. So Big Z Sports has got you covered every Friday night.
Absolutely. You're going to be at the Indian Valley game, right?
Yep, Indian Valley travels to Tusky Valley this week. I'll be up there.
Another interesting game, Battle of the Valleys. It's tough to go up there to Zorville, man.
Well, one thing about going to Zorville, it's a grass field, and if they know Indian Valley's bringing the speed, they'll grow that grass. It's a little bit higher this week.
Yes, it will.
But, hey, Tusky Valley's a well-improved team. Everybody in the county has seen it this year. Nice job up there by Coach Dickerhoof and his staff and the players, man. They bought into the system, and they were getting it done this year.
Yep. All right. Well, make sure you tune in. We'll have all our stringers out. We'll be have our Sports Center on Facebook, on Instagram, on X. We'll have all that stuff going. Make sure you check out Big Z Sports on all of our socials. Again, tune into the Big Z Sports Show, all brought to you by Keim Home Center, starting on Friday at 5 o'clock. Myself, Adam Sweski, will be in studio because everybody else will be out doing games. So I guess we'll just get to eat by ourselves. That's all.
I'm going to join you until about 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Then I'll head up the road, and then I'll come back to help you close it down. So try to save me a little bit of food in there somewhere.
We'll save you some. Again, a huge thanks to the kids and the new Philadelphia Quakers and Athletic Director Tim Fortney. Thank you to Hog Heaven, and thank you to the Caleb Fell Real Estate Team. For Shannon Thomas, I'm Chris Kale saying so long from our Extra Point Show.
Thanks for listening to Big Z Sports Extra Point Show, presented by the Caleb Fell Real Estate Team. Big Z Sports returns Friday at 5 p.m. with the Big Z Sports Show and the most comprehensive coverage of high school football. Follow Big Z Sports on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at @Big_Z Sports. And subscribe for free to the Big Z Sports YouTube channel. Thank you for listening to Big Z Sports on 99.9 WTUZ, Z Country.